and welcome to Mickey Art. My name's Michelle Edhouse and today I'm painting a glass jar. I have painted one before, but this one is for my son Aiden. I noticed he's starting to get a bit of a collection of coins beside his bed, and I said, oh, it looks like you need a bit of a coin jar there, my darling. And he's like, oh, that sounds like fun. So this is an old coffee jar of a very well-known brand here in New Zealand. I'm not sure if you guys have it everywhere else, but it has more anyway. So I asked him what colours does he want it to be, and he said light blue, purple and gold. So I've been having a play with my colours, as you can see here on my little bit of plastic. This is cerulean blue and this is ultramarine blue, and I mixed them both with white and compared them with my violet, purple and gold, and I personally prefer the ultramarine blue. The tonings kind of go better. That's just my personal preference. I'm not going to ask him because he'll probably go for the other one and then I won't like it. He didn't specify, so he's getting that. If you remember, I did the big swinging pendulum on a pre-printed canvas, and it was a burgundy in a sort of a dark blue purple. So I'm kind of vaguely aiming to tone in with that, which the colour will do. So prepping the glass. First off, I have wiped it down with isopropyl alcohol. The one I use, I believe, is, if I can remember rightly, I think is 94% alcohol, but I may be wrong. Can't see it off the top of my head. But anyway, that is that. The next step that I'm going to be doing is just taking a piece of this wet and dry sandpaper. It's a very fine sandpaper, and just rub-a-dub-dub, just hopefully creating some sort of very fine tooth, just on the glass to hopefully help it adhere. He's not going to be putting it through the dishwasher or anything silly like that, so it doesn't need to be hugely handling proof, waterproof or anything like that, which is great because I don't think I could make it that way without resining it, and I'm not going to go to that extent. Just giving it a big rub up, and then again, it's not a huge rub, but it's just to get a little bit of tooth, just a little bit. Rubbing around the lid. This lid's got a bit of shape to it, as you can see. So just that will get some handling as he takes the lid on and off, so I would like that to be reasonably well stuck. Now all my paints are mixed just as I use them for acrylic pouring, because that's what we are doing today. We are acrylic pouring, and that is enough. Alright, next step. What are we going to stick it on? I am going to use my Lazy Susan, oops, with a little stick at the bottom. Somebody asked me in a previous video, how do I stick my stick, because I use this to spin when things aren't in the way. And all I've done is turned it over and put a bit of tape across the stick and just make sure it's nice and firmly taped down. And that's it. Really, really simple. I've still got blue tack on that. This does not have to be flat and even because it's a jar. Next thing I'm going to put down is a bit of cardboard. Just a nice little bit of cardboard that will be able to be, what's that word, tilted, all the runoff paint. Make something out of it. If you wanted to, you could put a canvas underneath it. Just be aware that a boxed canvas, if you put this much weight on it, it will sag in the middle. So you might want to put something underneath the canvas to support the jar so it doesn't sag. I'm going to then put down one of my lovely little tuna tins with some blue tack and push that down firmly just to keep it stable on there. Why am I doing that? I like all my paintings to be up off the ground. Another really good reason for that is when it's painted, I'm not going to want to put my fingers on it to move it. So this gives me somewhere to very carefully pick it up and move it. So there we go. That's our setup. As you can see, sometimes it automatically turns for us. How does it get any better than that? Now, what colours did I say we were using? Let's just move that over there and get our tin that we're going to pour into. This is, again, just another little tuna tin. I use a edge cutting lid, edge cutting, what are they called? Can opener. And that leaves a nice smooth unsharp edge on the can, but it also creates a little allows me to have the top as a lid, which again also has a smooth edge. So, but before we start putting it into our pouring, we need to mix up the ultramarine with the white to get our colour that we want. We only need a little bit of blue and we need a stir stick and we need our white. Don't you hate it when things are right under your nose and you can't see them? Now, as I said, I mix up my paints with Floetrol and water. I mix up whole because I do so much painting, you know, I put out sort of 3 or 4 paintings a week. I do mix a whole batch, like a whole tube of paint at a time. And that then just gives me, as long as you keep it in a stored in a airtight container, it will stay mixed and good for weeks actually. Now that has actually got a little bit of a tone towards a purple. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of got that purple tone, so that's actually quite cool. So it's a light blue, baby bluish. I might even go a little bit darker. Let's pop a little bit more blue in there. I know he said light blue, but you know, I'm the artist and he's not paying for this commission, so there we go. Again, it's still got a slight violet, a slight purple tinge, but it's all good. And we have our violet already here. And the violet dries pretty dark. So I'm going to actually put a little bit more in that from our base. But the cool thing about having a light colour and a dark colour is as they mix together, they will inevitably create a combo that's quite scrummy. Just put a couple of drops of water in that just to thin that down. We want our paints to be a similar consistency. If they're not a similar consistency, they will run differently, they will spread differently, they will not blend evenly. So that one's runnier. So just a touch more water in there. And the very next thing I'm going to do is bring on the gold. And check that one. And I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of silicone in the purple and the violet. Because you can put it in all of them, or you can just put it in one or two. It's totally up to you. My choice for this particular pour is just in the violet. So let me grab my silicone. You can buy ones that apparently are made specifically for pouring. This one, I don't know if you can see under that paint, is actually a personal lubricant from a well-known brand around the world. And I use this one because it's 100% dimethicone. And just 2 little drips into there. Give it a good stir. There's a difference between giving it a good stir and emulsifying it into the paint. So that's a good stir. If I kept going, you know how if you take vinegar and oil and shake them up, they will eventually separate. But if you whisk them in a beater, you can end up making mayonnaise if you add an egg. Like, that is the difference. Making mayonnaise is making an emulsion. Right, so I'm just going to layer these 3 colours into my pour pot. I'm going to layer them from the non-pour end. So just starting off, just little colour layers. You can pour it in from the side, you can pour it in from the pouring end, you can pour it in from the back end. It is so up to you. You can pour it in from a height so that they mix within the cup. You can do all sorts of combinations, and it's totally up to you. I'm really loving how this ultramarine has that tone of purple. He's probably going to complain that it's not blue enough, but he's a boy and he will complain if he complains, or he'll just go, "Mum, that's just amazing, thank you," or he'll go, "I hate it, I don't really care." Was my idea in the first place. And one more gold. Come on out, out you come. Okay, now I have my camera going at the side as well, so if I change between them, that's because there's a better shot from the side. Okay, so what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to start on the shoulder so that we get an even run down here. If I just start up here, we may skip bits. So I just want to get an even pour around the edge, and then I haven't decided yet whether I want to try and cover the whole thing or not. But I'm just going to pour. Oh, looking the way I'm going, I will get a pretty even coverage all the way through. And then I'm going to come up and pour around the top. And again. Can you see why I've put the card down the bottom? There's some beautiful stuff happening down there as well. And now you wait. Let me bring you in a little bit closer and just show you some of the detail that's happening in there. We've actually got a couple of little spots down here with no paint. I'm just gonna bring that paint down so it covers the whole thing. Oops, hitting my tripod. Now there's a point when you're pouring 3D objects that you can go, all right, we're ready to torch. And it's pretty much when a large, the big pull has finished running. If you try and torch it too early, the cells are just going to disappear on you. So remembering we put the silicone in the purple, we've already got some cells showing up, definitely on the top. I'm going to leave the top completely alone. It is very pretty. And I've just got my butane torch, very well used butane torch, which I can refill. And I did refill it. There we go. And what the butane torch does is it not only pops the air bubbles, but it also warms the paint and entices the silicone up to the top. And you can see there those little cell-like structures starting to form. Woo! I think this one's nearly had it. Look at all those cells. Not sure where the gold went though. There is some gold in there. Pretty sure not enough for what Aidan was after. Those of you that have been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that this is kind of similar to what I did with my coffee cups and the porcelain paint. And you get these kind of waterfall looking cells that I just really love them. Now one of the things I had thought of doing if I chose to if the gold disappeared, which it has, is just to dribble some gold. Just kind of tie in with the pendulum swing that we'd had, that Aiden's got in his room. So I'm just going to thin out a little bit more paint, a little bit more of the gold, just so that it's quite a runny consistency, but not, I don't know. I don't want big thick lumps, otherwise it will ruin it. Someone out there's going, don't touch it. I hope it's not Aiden. Okay, so see how runny that is? Yeah, there you go. I'm doing big thick lumps, like I said I wouldn't want. Okay, just going to let those stream down, just giving them a little bit of a golden vein look, which is quite cool. Alright, so I'm going to put that aside and just let that drain while we deal with this bit down here. So the target is to not drop it, which I have done on a previous video. All right, let's see what else is possible with this. Now these bits of cardboard, for those of you that are new, are just the inside of cereal boxes, and I take them and I use them to make greeting cards with. So there's an optimal size, which the greeting cards should be. I really like this bit. This bit looks like some sort of animal, skunky type. Where's my torch gone? I really want to keep this bit, so I'm not going to tilt it anymore, because otherwise I'll lose it. But I am going to torch through here and see if we can get a bit more cells, which we have got a few more in here, not so many though. And what do I normally do with those? Well, I have some little baking trays. And I just pop the baking tray, the cardboard, onto the baking tray and leave it to dry. So there we have a very cool looking jar and a piece of cardboard with some art on it. So let's leave those to dry, and I will be back very soon in your time, but once they're dry in my time, to show you how they've come out. Ta-da! For the magic of cinema, we are back, and it is dry. How does it get any better than that? Now, I haven't touched it other than to move it back from where it was sitting, so it's actually even still stuck to its little tin that it sat on. But I just wanted to show you, with it in focus, please camera. I just wanted to show you just the very beautiful lines. As you can see, the blue really does just look like a, oh, come on camera. I don't know whether this is my eyesight or my camera not focusing properly. The blue, anyway, which you don't need to focus on, just looks purple, which is really bizarre because it's ultramarine blue and white, which when I hold the actual blue up to it, so not purple. You can sort of vaguely see a purple tinge to it, but when you put white to it, it just goes so purple. So weird. Anyway, so as you can see, the paint is gluing the lid down, and we've got it glued to this. So it's really, really simple. Next step is to get your knife and just run it around, obviously with a lot of care, a lot of safety awareness. Yeah, come on, it's a thick piece there, and some vague indication to yourself as to where you started. There we go, we're right the way around now. And of course we have blue tack under there, so it's not just going to fall off. Now if you wanted to use this for a thing that would actually need to be washed or anything like that, as I said, this is a money jar for my son, you could definitely seal this all up. Make sure you seal those cut edges because they're no longer going to be nicely self-sealed. And then this jar has a rubbery plasticky bit. Watch your fingers. So I'm making sure I go in underneath that because that stays with the lid. I'm sure somebody out there is having conniptions. I got told I should be wearing a Kevlar glove when I use my knife. I'm like, I'm a Kiwi. So there we have it. That comes off nicely. Just clean up those little edges. And what's the bet? After I give it to him, and he doesn't watch my videos, so I know that it's not going to be, this will never sit back down in line with where it is. Like that's nicely lined up all the way around ish, sort of. What's the bet? It will never ever be lined up again once he gets hold of it. But I'm going to leave it off because this has still got some wet paint in there, and let that dry some more before I give it to him. But I'm really pleased with it. I showed him the photos of it when I poured it, and he's like, oh, that's actually exactly what I was after. And I was like, oh, awesome. But I like it. I like it a lot. It's super pretty. And then we've got our card, which there's enough there to make 2 greeting cards. One out of that side, one out of that side. As long as I don't leave those bits sitting on it and they get stuck. I really love this piece. This just is yummalicious. Emma, hello. Not so overly fussed with this, but when you're not comparing it to that side, like when there isn't the contrast, it's actually really nice. And then again, without the contrast, it's really nice too. So I'm going to make those into cards and have those available for people to purchase or to be used for cards that I make and give away to friends and family. It's my father-in-law's birthday today, so getting this video all finished and ready early in the morning so that I don't have to think about it when we go to their place for dinner. Anyway, I had fun. I hope you had fun. I've got lots more fun coming up. I've got videos being prepared in advance so that I've got them there for you while I'm in Bali. Going over there to teach a 4-day Access Consciousness Foundation class, which is very exciting. Love that class. It's so life-changing. Anyway, I adore you. I've had fun. And remember, if you are wanting to join me live, head on over to that URL, mickeyart.co.nz/sign up to get on my newsletter, which gives you notifications about when I'm going live. I'll be going live one more time before I go to Bali. And if you're wanting to buy my digital prints, head on over to there. And if you like any of my paintings and you'd like to own them, please, please, please send me a message, comment, let me know that you're keen and we can talk turkey, do a deal, you know. What else is possible? What can we create together? Anyway, I adore you. Have fun. And I will see you in the next video in a couple of days. Alright, bye-bye.